Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sabansi. I want to welcome you guys to another episode of the Dreamerspro Show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And today we have a pretty fun show for you guys that we want to get into. But before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and subscribe to the channel. Now, this is a topic that I've heard some of our viewers request for us to touch on. And the topic is essentially this. A lot of people out there, we're talking about people that follow sports, have been lamenting the fact that, listen, why is it that sports media, and in this particular case, we're talking about the NBA, why do they only focus on like 4 or 5 topics? LeBron James, the Lakers, LeBron James and the Lakers, and then they sprinkle in maybe the Golden State Warriors here and there, and then that's basically it. It's all about LeBron, the Lakers, LeBron, the Lakers, LeBron, the Lakers. And a lot of people have been complaining about this. They're like, wait a minute. There are 30 teams in the NBA. 30 teams. Why are we constantly talking about 1 or 2 teams for an entire season? Why is this always the chatter? Around there, right? And this particular point surfaced once again after the Lakers got eliminated. Excuse me. Actually, while the Lakers were playing the Denver Nuggets in the Western Conference Finals, right? And it was something that even the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone, was talking about, where he said, listen, how is it possible that we're beating this team? And it's all about, whenever the media discusses this series, they're always talking about, oh, well, you know, instead of talking about what the Denver Nuggets did right, they're always talking about the adjustments that the Lakers could have made, et cetera, right? So this conversation has kind of been bubbling in the back. So what happened? The Los Angeles Lakers got swept by the Denver Nuggets. In the immediate aftermath, the conversation then became centered on as a matter of fact, before the even series was over, we actually posted on a community where you had people like Brian Windhorst already discussing potential Kyrie Irving trades. I'm like, wait, what? We're talking about this while the series is going on. We're talking about trades for next year already. So you had people talking about various trades and all of that. And then the series ended, and immediately they started talking about, obviously, LeBron, how he performed. And then LeBron somehow found a way to say something about he may or may not retire, and that became the storyline. So yesterday, during the game between the Boston Celtics and the Miami Heat that was being covered by TNT, Charles Barkley, I believe it was at the halftime show, went off on the media for only talking about 1 or 2 things and basically doing the game of basketball a disservice by not talking about other teams and other players. So what we want to do is I want to play what Charles Barkley had to say here, and then we're going to really get into the meat and potatoes of this video. So take a listen to that.
So the Western Conference Final is over. And how about the Denver Nuggets with a sweep? The first time they've ever swept a best-of-7. First time they're ever going to the NBA Finals.
I just want to thank you, Ernie, for starting with the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I was so mad this morning I actually turned the TV off because the Denver Nuggets, who have been the best basketball team in the world all season, sweep, get to the finals for the first time. Now, you know Mike Malone, I love him, but he's whiny. But he does have a point.
No, he has a great point.
He has a great point.
No, a great point.
I mean, I was like, and I love Mike Malone. I cannot wait.
Michael Malone. If you really love him, call him Michael.
Okay. Michael Malone. I can't wait to get to Denver. Hey, Sean Payton, I got your text. You and Payton, we're playing Castle Pines. I'm ready.
He's all over the place.
No,
I know.
No, but I was so glad. I was so mad watching TV this morning to everything. And listen, we all love LeBron. He didn't say he was retiring yet, but he does that. We'll do all that stuff. But it should have been all about the Denver Nuggets and Joker, Jamal Murray, Michael Porter, and those guys. It was awesome. And let me tell you something, Ernie.
Yeah.
When that team,
oh
when they were getting stomped last night and came back and won, that was impressive. And that should have been what we talked about all day.
The conversation, if it's not tomorrow, is this. This should be, if you want to talk about the greatest player in this generation possibly retiring, we can get that. He's at a storied franchise. But if it's not tomorrow about talk radio stuff, where does Joker rank in the great centers of all time? Why has Jamal Murray never been an all-star? Where does he rank in the 2 guards of today? Like, those are the things that you have to start talking about. Will Aaron Gordon or Michael Porter Jr. be the first of the 2 all-stars of the 3rd guy? So those are the conversations that should be having now about that team, because they have earned it, they deserve it, and they have been the most complete basketball team from start to finish from every aspect of the game.
And they swept I mean, and the thing that's funny, Ernie, it's only been like a month ago. Oh, the Warriors got that championship DNA. See how they won Game 7 in Sacramento. They're going to win the championship. Then they lose. I told you, then they play the Phoenix Suns with Booker and KD. They're not going to beat Booker and KD. No, they gone. Now, whoa, the Lakers got it together now. AD's playing.
4-zip.
Yes. Now they're gonna beat the Nuggets. 4 quickies.
Yeah.
And I would tell you something. When we were watching that game last night, I says, man, Denver let down a little bit. You know, they're down almost 20.
Yeah.
And then the next thing you know, them boys start balling. I was so impressed. Told you I had to turn my TV off this morning.
So you heard what Charles Barkley had to say. Now I want to take my time with this topic. You know, the NBA markets its game around stars. And because they do that, you're only going to end up talking about 1 or 2 or maybe 3 stars. You're going to be talking about the biggest stars, which are LeBron, which are Stephen Curry. I believe LeBron James is still the face of the NBA. And because they do that, they end up, doing a disservice to so many other teams in the league, because there are 30 teams and there are 30 different markets that are not being talked about. And in some cases, maybe 28 or whatever. If you have places like New York who have 2 teams, you understand my point that California has 3 teams. You understand that. But anyway, it creates this kind of vacuum where a lot of people out there are starving for the media to talk about other things. Now, I think the reason that the media at large does that is because of the numbers. So you're going to talk about the teams that have the biggest markets because they have the most eyeballs, and therefore you can drive revenue even higher, right? So from a media standpoint or from a business standpoint, you can understand that. Now, this is what's also happening. It has created this perception out there that if you don't discuss the Lakers, if you don't discuss LeBron James, you will not be successful in sports media, in particular, basketball media, right? And we have this. I've had this back and forth with some people in our, that view our videos. For instance, someone left a comment yesterday saying, now that LeBron and the Lakers are eliminated, what's going to happen to? I think he said, what's going to happen to independent sports media creators? Meaning, how are they going to stay afloat? How are they going to get views, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? And you could tell that people like this are people that are influenced tremendously by what they see on television, and they think it applies everywhere. When in reality, it really doesn't work like that. Because on YouTube and all of these various platforms, you're working on what you call you're working with what's called an algorithm. And an algorithm behaves in a very interesting way, right? And there's certain things that work for certain platforms. And I've told a lot of these people, if they feel that, oh, it's all about the Lakers, I've issued a challenge to them. That's what you believe, and you have a strong conviction about it. You go open up a basketball channel, and you talk about the Lakers every day, and let's see how fast your platform grows. We'll see you in the next year or 2, and we'll see how much ground you cover. Most of these people are never going to take up that challenge, because obviously there's a lot more that goes into growing a platform than just talking about the Lakers. But basically, the question is, why aren't we discussing other things? And I think the answer is a lot of people have gotten lazy, to be quite honest with you. A lot of people have gotten lazy. They don't really put much thought into talking about other things. What they do is they pick one particular subject and they constantly attack it in different ways every single day. And they feel like they're providing something refreshing, when in reality, they're just regurgitating the same point in a different way. Right. And a lot of people are complaining about this. And I believe what this does is it creates an opportunity for people that are going to go out there and meet the demand. If people want people in media to talk about other things, you go out there and you do it. You service that demand. Now, obviously, you have to be good. You have to be competent. You have to understand so many things about making sure that you can deliver that product or whatever it is you're trying to offer the public at a high level and a consistent level, in order for them to even trust you, to listen to you, to consistently come back and listen to you. But I understand what people are saying, and I understand what people like Charles Barkley is saying. I think the way it works on television is they do it because it drives revenue. Period. End of story. And I think that's the sole reason that they do it. I've heard people in media like Max Kellerman and others argue for, hey, why don't we do this? Why don't we do that? People talk about it. Hey, why don't we talk about this and why don't we talk about that team? But the fact of the matter is they can say, oh, we hear what you guys are saying, but at the end of the day, you know how every single show, almost all of them are going to start off. They're going to start off talking about the Lakers. They're going to start off talking about what LeBron did. And what I believe is, if these guys aren't careful, they're gonna end up putting themselves in a corner. They're going to actually back themselves into the wall. What do I mean? Because by constantly talking about the same thing every single day, you automatically become synonymous with that thing. And the moment you try to talk about something else, it doesn't work. Do you know why? Because your audience base knows you for that thing. And whenever you try to talk about other things, it becomes problematic. And this is just not a sports thing. This is a thing across media. I see every single day people trying to talk about every single thing under the sun. Do you know why? Because they feel like, well, this is the next thing. This is the hot thing. Let me talk about this. This is the hot thing. Let me talk about that. Why? Because they feel like it's going to make them money. But they don't realize by doing so, you're actually hurting your own views. Because your audience is becoming more and more scattered all over the place. You don't have that audience. So for me, the way I see it is, for example, us here, we talk about basketball predominantly. And what we try to do is we try to talk about various stories around the basketball world. You will never see me talking about what's happening with Will Smith. Unless it's like the one time we did it. You'll never see me talking about what's happening in politics. You'll never see, because the audiences don't mix. And people are doing this because they want to gather every dollar on the table, but it doesn't really work that way. But in the case of big media, I don't really see these guys changing their colors. They're not going to start talking about the Denver Nuggets because you want them to. It ain't going to happen. We can talk about it, we complain about it, but even Charles Barkley, as much as he complained about it, guess what? He's still going to talk about the Lakers and LeBron James. And if you want it to change, then people's taste needs to change. But what's happened now is that people are conditioned, unfortunately, to like a particular thing. And this is why you have people come into our platform saying, hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do when the Lakers and blah, blah, blah? Well, I'll see you in a month. I'll see you in 2 months. If we don't grow over the summertime, then I'll say you're right. If we do, then it means that you're just up here talking. So these are my thoughts and opinions on this. Whatever you guys think, please leave your thoughts in the comment section, and we catch you on the next show.